It's only gonna bring you down tonight.
Yo, JD here, Tilimus, and as you can see here today, this is my F1 tips video. It's my second video in the series. I just want to say thank you so much for the support in the last video. It was really amazing to see, and I can't wait to keep this going for a very long time now. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about manual gears, which for me personally, or I think it's pretty much a fact that if you want to improve yourself, if you want to be reaching your near potential on this game or F1 games, that using manual gears is an absolute must, because automatic, no matter how good you are, you will not be going as fast as you can do with manual gears. And this video here today, as I did with my last, is just giving you my advice, my tips and recommendations of how I actually learned it and what the benefits and the drawbacks are of using manual gears as well. But before we start this video, I'm actually going to go into my controller settings, because I know a lot of people have asked me quite a few times now if I'm on a controller wheel, and I can confirm that I am on the wheel. And these are the settings I'm going to be using, or I have been using throughout all the F1 games, and I don't change anything, so it's completely on default. So it's the preset one. As we go down through here, you'll be able to see, so I use A for gear up, X for gear down, Y for DRS, and these are all my other settings as well. So that's just to confirm that I don't change anything. I've got a normal controller as well, so I've just got a standard Xbox One wireless controller, so I don't have a SCUF or anything else at all. I actually just have a normal wireless controller at the moment, and that's all you need. You don't need to be fancy or anything, or any other equipment or anything like that. Just having the default settings, default controls, and you're ready to go. So for this video here today, we're going to go around Hungary, because that's a particularly good track for going up and down the gears, I feel, in my opinion, because you're quite busy on the sticks around there. So we're going to go through that. As I said, just go through the benefits and drawbacks, my advice. So let's get into it. Right, so we're in the garage now, and as the same as the last video, we're going to put on the setup here today, just so we can actually have a decent setup, so rather than just having a complete default. So go on option tires, go use my Spain setup as I did last time as well. And we're going to go out on track, and first I'm just going to talk about my advice and how I actually do it. Then I'm going to do a lap in automatic and just give you the benefits and drawbacks of that. And then we're going to do a lap in manual, hopefully a decent-ish lap in manual, just to see the reason why I feel if for competitive purposes, if your intention is to improve your speed at the game, then this is an absolute must, that in my opinion, that you have to do this if you want to reach your potential in the game. So we're going to go out on track now. You can see the setup here today. Put 10 laps of fuel in as well. So let's get out on track and let's get into it. Right. So out in Hungary, a nice clear day, and we're going to go to session options, assists, and currently we've got a manual suggested gear. And firstly, we're going to go on automatic, and everything else is off, same as usual. And for me, I've always really used automatic or automatic manual from playing PGR4s and stuff before, because on those games, if you're using automatic, you really are going to get punished. So for me, I've been pretty lucky in the sense that I've had it from the word go, but I know there's a lot of people watching this video who do use automatic because you're new to the game, or you're just fairly comfortable with how it is to use at the moment. But we're going to do a lap here. So we're trying to do a decent lap as usual. We're not going to use DRS or rich mix. First thing I noticed straight away, the gears are shifting very early. So we'll see what it's like going to turn 1 here. So brake at my normal spot. And it's not really going in the gear that I would use. Normally I'd use gear 2 through there. And again, it just seems that, you know, we'll lose if Massa can just get out of the way. It's, you know, even on traction as well, it's a big delay to how I would instinctively actually react. So brake normal, and so for here it's not too bad, but again it seems to shift a bit too late. It's not going into gears, and 4th gear through here as well, you know, and traction as well, because we're in 4th gear, we're in a lower gear. Again, that's going to be really hard to control. So next up, we'll try and do a proper lap next up. But for me, with learning manual gears, I feel, again, as I said in my last video, that time and patience are always going to be the biggest things in terms of learning anything, improving any game or any aspect in your life. Time is always going to be the biggest thing, and it's going to be the same for this. You're not going to learn it in a week or 2 weeks, maybe if you're lucky 3 weeks. It may even take you a month or even months to learn this. If you're completely new to this, it may take you quite a while. So we'll try and do a decent lap here. And my best advice for learning manual is to always know what gear you're going to go into a corner in. So if you're doing every track, if you could do all the corners on the tracks, if you drive all the tracks, you know exactly what gears are going into here. You always go into 8th gear. You know what gear you have to be on the apex. You know your end gear and then your start gear for the next corner, if that makes any sense. So going 8th gear into there, and you know on the apex that you want to be going in 2nd gear. That's the optimal gear that you want. So you've got to go down 6 times. And for me, I don't really count what gear I'm in, because sometimes when you're overtaking someone, you don't actually have time to look at what gear that you're actually going to be in. It's something instinctively that you got to have. And with time, as I said before, that's something that does come with time, that you just automatically go and know. But for me, I kind of do it as a tempo, like in a music track or a music beat or something. So well, I'll be able to explain that when I actually use manuals. So, but on this lap here, there's not really a good lap at the moment because we're not really paying attention. But the things I'm noticing that, you know, it's not really, it's a big delay. And on throttle as well, on traction, it's actually harder because you're not in the lower gear, so it's easier on here. So coming right here, you know, I'm actually finding it more difficult on automatic as well. It's actually easier to control the car when you're actually in manual gear. So we'll go complete this lap. I know it's not going to be a very good one, but we'll be able to go on manual gears for this next lap, and just again losing the car. You can see across the line here, you know, that's not a good lap. We're not really paying attention, but we're going to go into manual gears now. So if you do that, it's okay. We've got a bad start to lap, but we're going to go to 8th gear. So I know I've got to go to 6th gear. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 last minute. DRS. So I know I've got to go into 6th gear for this corner, and I know I've got to go down 3. So 1, 2, 3. I know short shift twice through there because I know the wheel spin's quite difficult, so I always short shift twice through there. I know I've got to go up to 7th, and I know I've got to go down 1, 2, 3. Short shift, as that's a penalty, but 1, 2 again. So this is what I'm thinking throughout my mind. So I know 6th gear through here, or 5th gear, sorry. 1, 2, 3. Up 1 to avoid the wheel spin. Up 1 again as a curb. Go down 1. Hold it in 3rd, middle of the track. 1, 2 to avoid the wheel spin. 1 as the curb starts. Up into 6th, 100 meter board. 1, 2, 3. Short shift to avoid the wheel spin. Shadow, 1, 2. I know it's really hard on wheel spin here, so 1, 2. It's really hard on wheel spin here again, so 1, 2. DRS sign. And a 22.4, which, you know, we're not using rich or anything as well. Got 10 laps of fuel, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 last minute. DRS, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So if it's something you may be noticing when I'm using the manual gears, is we're just going to wind this down now, so I'm not going to pay attention to this lap. Whenever I go in my last gear through a corner, it's always really, really late, and the reason why I do that is because it gives you more bite going into the corner. So I stay in the high gear quite a bit longer than I would do in automatic, so I'm staying in 3rd and 2nd last minute. And the reason why I stay in 3rd for quite a while is because that keeps the car stable before you turn into a corner. So it actually stops the car from oversteering as much, because, you know, you can see, we'll do it for an example of another corner. So we'll go through here now. Curb starts, 5th gear, up through the gears, 6th gear. So, you know, let's go through this in 4th. Go through in 4th. You know, the car's understeer, but it's stable. You know, we've got a decent exit because we're in a high gear. And the reason why I go down to 3rd gear normally through 4th, because it gives you a better bite into the corner. And that's something I do with all my corners. I hold it in the penultimate gear for quite a while, and then in the last gear I shift really that apex. So you can see here, I know I've got to go into 8th gear for this corner, so I always go into 8th gear. So we'll go into 8, break it at normal point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 last, and it gives you a bit of bite. I mean, we know we missed the corner that time, but that's something I do. And with manual as well, I don't really look at what gear I'm in, because as I said before, with time and repetition, you'll know exactly what gear you're in, for what speed you are going into the corner. You know what gear, and that sounds crazy, but you actually know what gear, what the gears actually feel like going through the corner. So no, I'm always know that I'm going to be in 5th gear through in here. I know on the exit I'm always going to be in 3rd. I know this is 4th. 1, 2, 3, short shift, up 1 gear, and I know that's 3rd. I know that's never going to be 2nd, and it's something that's really, really hard to explain. But with time, and if you keep on doing every track with manual, you know for what corner, and even in different conditions as well, and even when you're losing tyres and grip, and even in the wet, that you know what corner works for which corner, so you don't even have to look at the gear. And the most important thing is, it's just to have that tempo, so it's kind of like a music beat when you're going down through the gears. So I'll try and do it for this turn 1 here. So coming off this. So no, getting DRS, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. And I'm not counting the gears, I'm just going. I know that through the triggers and how I'm actually doing it with my thumb when I'm actually doing it on the X, I know how many times I've got to put it. I know what tempo I've got to do for that corner. It's kind of like if anyone plays a piano, it's basically knowing what note to use or what quaver to use, that when you're going into a corner, that you know exactly how many times. So I know double, we couldn't do it exactly there. But it's something with time that you're going to be automatically programmed into the game. And if you are struggling, then suggested gears is a good thing to use. But again, with Racing Line, I feel that's something that's a bit more of a distraction than a benefit. It's something that can definitely help you as a safety net initially at first. But my advice is, again, is always to know which gear that you're going into corners. You always know the maximum gear per corner that you're going to be using. You know that you're never going to be lower or any higher than that gear at any given time, unless you obviously have a spin or anything like that. You always know the maximum gear to go into corner, and always know the lowest gear that you're going to do throughout the corner as well. So I know for the turn 1 at Hungary, for example, I know that I'm always going to approach that in 8th gear, and I know I'm always going to go down 6 times till I get to 2nd gear. And I know at 2nd gear, when I hit the apex, I know I'm going to delay that till the apex just to get a better bite into the corner. And this is something that you're going to have to figure out for yourself. So this is something where you're going to have to put time in, doing lap after lap. Time trial is a perfect way to do it. It's absolutely perfect to do that way. It's just to program yourself so you know for which corner. On every corner, every track, I know what gear to use, and that's because I've played, I've been using this for 4 years, and I feel this is something you can learn in 2 to 3 weeks. It may take you a bit of time for which particular corners, but as you go through the corner, after a couple of times, you know what gear doesn't work for you. And also as well, everyone has their own driving style. So some people really like to go into low gears and then short shift really quickly. Other people want to go in really high gears throughout the corner just to keep it more stable in the exit. So it's all about your driving style. And again, time is going to be your biggest factor in this. And it depends for each player as well. But for me, it's an absolute must. If you want to be quicker and faster at the game, then this is an absolute must to do. So those are my tips here for today. So just to summarize again, always know your maximum gear before going into the corner. Always know your lowest gear that you're going to be using just for that bite into the corner. And try not to count the gears as you're going down on the right hand side. Try not to look at that, because that will really throw you off when you're braking or focusing on your driving. Or just try and get a tempo so you just know when you're going into that corner on the controller or on the wheel with the paddle, you instinctively know a tempo to use for that corner, if that makes any sense. That's how I do it. I don't count the gears. I just have a tempo that I know that when I do it really quickly at this pace, I always do it at that tempo for that corner. So I always know. And if I miss a beat of it, then I know instinctively, even if I look at the gears, I know I've missed the gear already. So that's something that's going to come with time and repetition. But I hope that's been a really informative video here today. Again, it's hard to explain, but with time and repetition. And my advice as well, if you're struggling with corners, then watch my videos, watch anyone else's videos who you consider to be good or experienced at the game. If you're struggling with particular corners, just watch those people's videos, because that will give you an idea on when to shift, when to go up shift throughout the corners, and what points to actually change gears. That is the best way to do it, and that's how I learned it, through trial and error, watching other people who experience it as well. And then over time it will be something, it'll be when you like learning a car, riding a bike, you instinctively know how to do it. So that's my video here today. I've tried to go in much detail as possible because I know a lot of people are asking for it. Traction control will be in the next video because I know that's been a pretty big request. So that is definitely going to be in the next video here today. So that is from me. Thank you so much for the support, and I will catch you next time. Cheers.